Everybody, taking a look today at Filecoin. It is the 6th of May. Real quick though, on the screen, we're going to take a look here at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. So yesterday's video, in the afternoon, I put out a video about Casper and took a brief look at a couple of sentiment indicators and mentioned that the fear and greed will probably drop from a 27, and looks like we headed down back into the lower 20s. We're at a 22 right now. A lot of fear in the crypto markets, a lot of fear in the stock market. So if you're a contrarian, keep that in mind. Doesn't mean we can't go lower, but we're at a unique opportunity, I believe, right now. Let's jump over to some charts. So we're going to take a look at Filecoin, and I'll share some of the things I see here. We are on a daily chart. We are on Filecoin /USD dollar. This is the Gemini data. You can see that up on the left-hand side of the screen here, Gemini. So what do I see here from a very stepped back view? Well, the obvious is we're in a pretty extreme downtrend here. Got lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, chopping around. And we get that waterfall move to the downside. Nice big rally came into place here. And now we're getting basically a washout move. They call it the bathtub analogy. That's kind of what it looks like is playing out right here. So the question is, where will this thing bottom? Has it bottomed yet? This candle that came in right here for Filecoin on the 30th of April looks like a bottom to me. Now, it doesn't mean it is or it will be, but right now it is, and it has a nice look like that. Of course, it doesn't mean the markets will not move lower. So this candle on the 30th of April looks similar to this candle over here on the 22nd of January. And then we did get a little bit of a rally there. Eventually, we actually moved back down to sideways, but we did see a nice reaction there. Yesterday was a rough day for the crypto markets, and you can actually see that Filecoin right there on that candle. Yesterday was the 5th. Pretty rough day. A lot of assets had some bearish engulfing candles. So far here for Filecoin, we do see this is the bottom so far. Let's see, the low was 12 bucks. Of course, doesn't mean it won't hold. If the markets just continue to head lower, there's a good chance that it will pull down the rest of the cryptos, and Filecoin included. So we have a candle like that on the 30th. And then we had one over here in January. Let's see what else we can look at here. So if we actually go back into 2021, we had a pretty aggressive, let me try to get this over here. So we had a pretty aggressive sell-off. It looks like in November, December. And then we actually traded sideways for a bit, and then we actually saw a nice rally. And there's something that is telling me that these markets are going to chop around sideways before actually making their big moves back to the upside. Now, that might not play out, but it kind of seems like that is playing out right now for projects like Casper and XRP. And what I mean by that is we're not getting, at least so far, we're not getting a V bottom. So let me just draw something on the chart. Sometimes you'll get these topping markets and they'll start to roll over. They'll trade lower. And then you'll get a bathtub analogy, a washout move. And then you'll see a strong V bottom recovery back to the upside. Well, so far, we have a topping market basically, and we're trading lower. And we've seen those strong moves to the downside, but we're not V bottoming out of here. We're kind of chopping around. So that is what leads me to believe that we'll see something more like this that could drag out for a little longer, where we already put our bottom in, and now we're kind of just messing around, and then we'll see that move to the upside, which is what took place in Filecoin back in 2021 in December and January. We had that sharp sell-off, but we didn't just V-bottom off of the lows. We had the sharp sell-off, had a little rally, and then chopped around for a while, and then started to really see some larger moves to the upside. So let's jump back over to what's going on in recent times. Now, I don't own Filecoin. I don't have plans to own it. I don't even keep track of it. Just looking at the charts here and kind of breaking down what I see here. So we got a nasty sell-off, little reaction, chopped around, tried to move higher, found resistance at this other high over here, double topped, and then Filecoin as well as the other markets. So we have that washout move on the 30th of April. That came in. Nice little rally back up, little pullback. Now, this might be, let me zoom in here. This might be a higher low. And that is quite bullish, and something to keep in the back of your mind is we put in a low down here. I think it was 12 bucks, I said. Rallied up. And so far, yesterday's low is still holding. Even if it doesn't, and today's low doesn't undercut that 12 bucks, it would still be a higher low. So we have low number one, and so far, somewhere down in here, we'll see a low number two. If this is a higher low. And then that next move will be that higher high, getting us above this high. And that'll be a nice change in trend. So that's one scenario that could play out. The other scenario is we had the sharp sell-off. We get a little bit of a reaction move, which we've seen. And then we kind of do that chopping around for a bit. And then we get that big higher high, higher low, and then we're into a new uptrend. But sometimes these bottoms will be a choppy, noisy place for more than a couple days. And basically, you'll get a market sell-off reaction, which we've seen so far for Filecoin, and then you'll get the choppiness. This whole area is designed to shake people out of the market. Sentiment goes in the right direction. Sentiment gets more bearish. Traders get whipsawed out. They don't think the market's going to rally back up. It chops around for some time, and then all of a sudden you'll get that massive move back to the upside. And a lot of traders down in here who threw in the towel or got stopped out multiple times are wondering why the market's going up. It's not supposed to be going up. But that's just the way the market works sometimes. You don't always get those massive V rally recoveries right off the bottom, like we did back in 2020 in the stock market. Sometimes you'll get those tops, strong sell-off reaction, choppiness, and sometimes you'll even test the lows. Sometimes you'll test this low. You'll get a double bottom, and then you'll start to get that move up higher. I think we saw that in, was it 2018? Something like that in the stock market, where we sold off strong, rallied, came back, we either tested or undercut the lows, and then we started to move higher. And perhaps we'll see that now in the stock market. We're pretty close to where the lows are. So we'll see how this plays out. And also it could play out as this isn't the low for Filecoin. Maybe we undercut that low. It's tough to buy stocks and cryptos that are in a downtrend. So what I mean by that, unless you have some kind of a trading strategy or a model that tells you the price has bottomed, it's tough to buy weakness, I call it. So here we are on Filecoin. We're trending down, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. So let's say you bought Filecoin over in here on this, around these lows in the $40 to $45 range. Yeah, you had a nice rally back up to the 60s, 70s, and then we ultimately we undercut that low. And I just said that sometimes it'll do that. You'll get a double bottom or it'll undercut. And then we saw a very, very strong rally to the upside. So if you didn't take your profits, I mean, look where we're at now. We're actually much lower. So it's tough to buy weakness in the markets. And what I mean by that is, personally, I look for a change in trend. So we go from, let's see here. We go from lower highs to lower lows in a downtrend. In an uptrend, let me see if there's actually something on the chart I can show you here. Could actually use it. This is actually a pretty good visual right here. So you have the lower high, and that was the end of that move. Massive lower low, lower high, another lower low, lower high, undercut the low, and then you get the rally. So lower highs, lower lows. And then what took place here, when we see these higher highs come into place, taking out a major high, that is a very, very bullish thing. And that's what we look for. We look for a change in trend from lower lows and lower highs to higher high and higher lows. So just a change in trend. So for Filecoin, so far we've only been seeing the lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high, washout move, but probably the bottom. So far a lower high, but the key is, which we could be happening right now, is this could be printing its higher low right in here. And then that next move up could be very strong, and that'll give us that higher high. So you could call this a high here. So if we print above this, that would be bullish. And sometimes this move here, you'll get a pullback like this. And we just saw this in like Tesla, a couple other things. You'll get that waterfall move. You'll print another lower high. So we're still in a downtrend. We'll pull back, not quite undercut this low, the major low. We'll print a higher low. People get bearish again. And then that next move, that next swing higher can be extremely, extremely strong. We saw it in the stock market recently. I guess it'd probably be a couple of weeks ago, and we saw it in Tesla as well. So traders get bearish once again on the pullback, but it actually is a higher low, and then you see a massive rally to follow. Short covering and all of that will take place. So maybe we're seeing that with Filecoin. We'll have to have patience here, but so far, pretty important area, $12. Keep your eye on it. Pretty important low. And let's see if we actually print a higher low somewhere in this area, and then keep your eye out for a big move to the upside, creating a higher high, and then probably even moving much higher than that. But always keep your eye on the general market. I guess it would be Bitcoin here. If Bitcoin decides to just keep on heading lower, there's a good chance it's going to have a lot of weight and pull a lot of these projects even further down. But sentiment in the stock market right now is very bearish, which is actually quite good. We do expect to see a very strong rally in the days and weeks ahead. Just got to have some patience here. Could go a little lower, could chop around, like I said, and then move higher. but that is what we are looking for. Of course, not financial advice. So kind of my thoughts here on Filecoin. I'm not going to draw any fibs on the chart, but of course you could. You could take the major swing high to this swing low here and see what that does. I would imagine this thing is well below the 236. Got a lot of resistance here. If you draw a line over to the chart, you'll see a lot of overhead resistance as well. All right, guys, if you have not yet joined the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I will get back to you guys. All right, take care.